everyone, it's Sharana from Pay Your Weight, and today I'm going to be reviewing Good Girls Season 3, Episode 7, Vegas Baby. And I guess before I get into this review, I have to give an apology to you guys. I know I've been slacking on my Good Girls reviews. I promise I am back on track. I spent all day catching up so I can make sure that I can do this review. I'm not going to do past reviews before anyone asks, because at that point, that was 3 weeks ago. It already happened. Like, let's just move forward, and I will make sure that on Saturdays that I start I'm going to go ahead and record stuff on Saturday so I can have it ready to go on Sunday. So starting next week for Good Girls, and also too for Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, I will go ahead, and as soon as the episode is up, my review will be up. So you guys ain't got to worry about nothing, okay? I'm going to make sure that I come through for you guys. But we got a lot to talk about. Because I ain't going to lie, I was kind of traumatized what happened in last week's episode, what happened with Lucy. I was like, this got dark real quick, y'all. Like, I know, like, my baby daddy, who I don't even know if my baby daddy no more because he kind of scaring me now. RIO, he not playing with them. So we know that he killed our homie Lucy. R.I.P. Lucy, you were just trying to help the people that had their gambling problems, just have a little fun, and now we got you killed. Well, really, Beth got you killed, but you know what? I am sorry for you. I was going to say, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm going to hell. Okay, so we saw at the end of last week's episode that Dean had the bird when he was leaving kind of the bird hospital. Then he ran into Lucy's boot thing. And then essentially, like, he started singing to the bird, and he realized that was his bird. Then he realized it's probably Beth is the center of all this. And then my man got a whole conspiracy board going. Like, he got the whole thing, the threads. Everything points back to Beth. So I was like, girl, you in trouble, because I don't know why y'all thought that a man who literally buys his girlfriend's tampons and pads and knows her whole menstrual cycle, why did you think he was going to just give up on her like that, or just accept the fact that she left him out of nowhere? I just don't even understand why you guys thought that was possible. I don't know where your thought process was going with that. But obviously my man's not over it, because we see that Beth is like, let's get it on. She had a little robe on and stuff. She wanted to get her some, like, little good, get her wall service real quick. And then she's sitting up here trying to give Dean a clue. And then Dean was like, oh, really? Like, oh, you trying to do that? And then he basically then tells her the story of what happened when he was in the elevator, and how this guy is trying to follow him and accuse his family of, like, stealing his bird. And then Beth ended up having to tell him the truth, which just had Dean looking like, girl, really? Like, are you serious? I'm like, I bet you wish you was smashing your boss's walls at this point now, dealing with all of this foolishness with Beth. But we're going to come back to him, because I feel like the most crazy stuff happened with his character. So we're going to save him for last. But we're going to talk about Annie, because Annie, you know, I'm so happy that therapist she's been talking to didn't give her none of the good, because I was like, Annie, you need to be able to have one relationship with a male that doesn't result in sex. And so I was very happy that he was like, hey, this is unprofessional. We're not doing this. Like, no, thank you. And then he told her, like, hey, like, you know, I can still treat you. But then she was embarrassed. And so she's been trying to go to all these other therapists, but obviously none of them are working or understands her crazy. But I was like, hey, Annie, it's your Jesus year. Let's hope that you kind of don't end up like, you know, Jesus died. I don't want you to die in your Jesus year, because you kind of on that path, messing with RIO and messing with your sister and stuff. But I like how she basically goes back to her therapist, like, towards the end of the episode, and she kind of rectifies everything with him, because I think he's good for her. I think he's going to help her get her life together, even though I still think that ultimately they're going to end up smashing, because I don't know why they would spend this much time on her therapist in the first place if this wasn't going to happen. But that's just me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen, so I don't know. But in the meanwhile, Stan's been playing Mahjong with the girls at the place that they've been working at. And I ain't gonna lie, I was addicted to that game. I used to play that game all the time on my computer. So I can understand, like, why he was having so much fun playing it. But he ends up getting a big tip from one of the girls. And then later in the episode, we see that she has basically been using these jobs to steal from the men because they don't tip her, they don't pay enough. And so she was just like, y'all rich anyway. Y'all cheating on y'all wives, so why not? And then it seemed like Stan had an issue with this at first. But we see that Even though Stan had everything like going for him in last week's episode with him getting his like police license back, he realizes that with his wife living a life of crime, there's no way that he will be able to live with himself going back to the force, because he knows that his wife is a criminal, and even at this point he's a criminal. And so I guess he makes the decision, like, if you can't beat him, join him. And he ends up telling the girls like, hey, I'll help you guys do this the right way, like I'll be your backup, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do this and not necessarily get caught. So I guess Stan is gonna live a life of crime. He kind of had that discussion with Ruby, because Ruby ends up getting shot, and trust me, we're gonna end up talking about that. But when he came home to surprise her with the little motorized wheelchair to get around, she was like, how did you get it? And he was like, you really want to know? And then she was like, you really want to know what happened with me getting shot? And he was like, don't throw stones, remember? And so I guess they have this unresolved, unspoken thing. They're both living this life of crime in two totally different ways, and they just don't want to know about it. But I still have a feeling that Stan is going to have a breaking point. We know that Ruby's really been dealing with the fact that she thinks that Stan is going to leave her, how, you know, the stuff that was happening with their daughter, how she feels as though that Stan just really can't live with the fact that his wife is a criminal. He loves her. She's his wife and she's the mother of his children, but he really is not 100% okay with what she's doing, even though he doesn't necessarily know what she's doing. But I did like the look that he gave Beth, like, you got my wife shot. Like, are you serious right now? I was happy that he kind of looked at her crazy, because I don't think Beth sometimes understands how she puts other people in danger. Like, even though it really comes back to her why they be in the mess that they in the first place. But sometimes Beth just really gets on my nerves. Oh, and also, too, because Annie saved... Actually, we'll say that from when all of that's going on. In the meantime, Dean is having a lot of issues, because after he tells her the story, he doesn't talk to his coworker, like, you know, everything's just been horrible since, you know, me and my wife's been having problems, and it has something to do with this guy. And then he brings up how one of their coworkers is going to Vegas, and Dean gets this idea that he wants to make a fresh new start. He feels that if he can get his wife away from Rio, if he can get his family away, then they can, like, just start fresh and start over. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works, Dean. I don't think that's necessarily possible, but you can go ahead and dream. But he knows the only way if he's going to make a move is he has to become the top salesperson. And so then he just starts taking it upon himself to start closing sales, even though his boss, who was trying to get up in them drawers and got mad because he didn't want to pull down his drawers to get up in her walls. But you know how this goes. And she basically benched him, and she got upset, called him to his office, and was like, hey, you're fired. He was like, I think not, because I'm going to go ahead and tell people how people becoming these number one salespersons. You be smashing everybody, and I'm going to get you fired. And so he basically ends up blackmailing her into not firing him anymore, and he kind of does what he wants to do. So I don't know necessarily like how all of that is going to play out, but it seemed like Dean has a master plan, and he's going to try to figure this stuff out the best way that he can. But in the meantime, Lucy's boo thing is really going through a tough time, y'all, because, you know, he ended up calling the phone, and they done behinds. The phone is at their house, and he talking about, I just used Find My iPhone, and trying to text him and make it seem like she wasn't there. She was there. She was trying to leave him. I was like, y'all are so stupid. But he ends up having dinner with, having brunch with them, or whatever you call it. They was at some diner after Beth ended up telling Dean what happened. They end up meeting with him. He holding them gunpoint in a paper bag in the middle of the restaurant. For some reason, anything, this is the best time to order the special of the day. I was like, ma'am, read the room. Why are we eating? No one else is ordering anything. Just have several seats and listen to what Lucy Bouthane has to say. And so basically he comes up to the conclusion after they tell him what happened that they have to kill Rio. And he has a cousin who's a Navy SEAL. He can do it. And they were like, okay, well, how much? And he was like, $30K. And then they were like, well, how are you going to pay for that? And he was like, well, I thought y'all was going to do that. And they was like, sir, well, what money, sir? What money? We ain't got no money. We literally stole a bird trying to get your girl to do what we needed her to do. And she want to follow directions. And now she's dead. Ain't nobody got no money. So basically, they have to then come up with a way to try to come up with this $30,000 so he can have his cousin go kill Rio. So they go to the check cashing place, y'all. So we see our friend again, and then he's sitting up here like, what are y'all trying to get done? And they trying to speak in code, and he thinking they trying to remodel the house. And then Annie's just like, look, sir, we need $30,000 for a hitman. And then she brings up how they should have just robbed the store that she works at, like she said. And he was like, why didn't you lead with that? So they come up with this whole stupid plan on how he's going to rob the store, take the money. They're going to pay him a cut of the money to do whatever he needs to do because no one's ever there. There's no security. Like, no one will be there. This should be easy peasy. And it looks like everything's going to go fine. But I was like, why do you have a stocking over your head? Like, we still can't see your face, sir. Like, I don't understand. You didn't want to put black stockings, something to make me not be able to see exactly who you were. And then he was like, give me the money, B. And she was like, sir, it's just us. What are you doing the theatrics for? But then we see that Beth and Ruby are outside to kind of stop people. They made up something about abandoned babies charity and bothering people so they don't get inside of the bodega. And so essentially when they do walk inside, they realize that there is a man making a delivery, and of course he has a gun, and he pulls a gun out, and then he's trying to tell them like, hey, go get a phone, go do something. He's looking at them crazy, I'm looking at them crazy, and he's looking at them crazy. Everybody looking at each other crazy because they don't know what the heck is going on. And then they try to make a sudden movement. Then they end up shooting Ruby by mistake, and then Ruby got shot in her leg. I said, oh Lord, Ruby, it's too soon. Like, is this her Jesus year too? But we see that Annie ends up like, Annie wrapped this girl leg up in sponges, ice scrapers, just all type of crazy stuff. I was just like, I saw them ice scrapers, I died laughing. I was just like, I know that they almost hit her femoral artery and she almost died and bled out. But I was just like, the ice scrapers, like, come on, y'all, I don't even understand. It didn't even look like it made any sense. Like, at least put the ice scrapers on both sides of her leg. I was just highly confused the whole time. But Annie felt inspired by saving Ruby's life that she wants to become an EMT now. So I guess she's trying to get her life together because, you know, her son is mad at her because she literally was messing with a homeless man, and basically she just got a lot going on. And I know her son is just like, when is this going to end? Like, can I just have a normal childhood? I don't understand what's happening in these streets, but it has to stop. But because this robbery didn't go the way that it should, then they decide they have to go back to just having Lucy Bouthane kill RIO. And so basically RIO is having issues with Beth because he knows that they're stealing from him, skimming money, but she keeps claiming that the ink provider is asking for all this money. So then he says, okay, well, let me meet your little ink distributor or whatever. And then she comes up with this plan to teach Max on how to shoot a gun. And that whole montage of literally, first of all, in the previous episode when Max broke down into that split when he was power walking, I had to pause and just walk away because I was crying, dying, like, just, I cannot. And even this episode when she's trying to show him how to shoot this gun and he just ain't shooting nowhere near the mark. Then when he put these earmuffs on, I died. When he literally was doing these kicks, doing these little kill stances, doing the little kill shots, I was just like, sir, it's just too much for me. Beth, you really think he finna sit up here and kill RIO? Like, the fact that you're really taking this seriously, I don't even understand what's happening. And then when he pointed the gun at her, I was like, child, just throw the whole gun away. Throw Lucy Bouthane away. Just throw the whole idea away. Don't do this. And so she thinks that she really got it going. She taking to meet him. This fool gonna say, I want a Sprite with no ice. Sir, that's not how you intimidate somebody. I was just like, this is not gonna work. And of course he chickens out. He can't do it. He apologizes to Beth, and then she basically ends up taking him home. And then essentially we think everything is all well and done. Dean, you know, he haven't talked with Beth like, hey, I just want to move to Vegas, get a new start. But then we hear the kids screaming. I'm like, oh, Lord, what could possibly be happening right now? And so then we see that they go into the house and essentially everything is missing out of Beth's house. And then there's a note on the counter that says Elizabeth, and he says, don't ever steal from me again. This fool took everything in their dang old house. Where are these kids for the sleep, RIO? You could have left the kids' stuff. You could have at least just took Dean and Beth's stuff. You could have left some for the kids. Dean already mad because they had to give the bird away. That's the only thing that Lucy Bouthane asked for. It's the only right thing to do. So he was just like, this is the last thing that RIO taken from us. You got my man mad about a bird. I think Dean has had it. He's up to here. But I was ready to choke Dean when he broke the plate in the previous episode. I was like, Sir, we really doing this? Like, you really did that? So, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just a lot. It's getting really dark. I'm kind of scared. I'm trying to figure out, RIO, are you going to give her stuff back? Is she going to get her house back? You not going to get the kids their beds? Can the kids just have beds to go lay in? They had to give up their bird already. What else the kids got to lose at this point? They supposed to be getting a mistake. They ain't even got nowhere for the snake to go at this point. Can't even slither around nothing. It's just an open space. But I just really hope that Beth stops trying to cross RIO. Like, these ideas that y'all come up were just dumb. They're stupid. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen with Stan. I like that they're giving Stan a little bit more to do on his own outside of Ruby instead of just being that person to come home and actually like, what illegal thing did you do today? I like where they're going with his storyline, and kind of to see how when Ruby does find out what's happening, how she's necessarily going to react to it. And I do hope that Annie is finally trying to get her life on track, because at this point, Annie, like, you didn't have chance after chance. I just really want to see you do something with yourself, because I know that you can do it. But I do want to say, Annie, your hair been on point these past couple episodes. I like your haircut that you got. Like, it's cute, boo. I just wanted to let you know that. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. I like that they're making this very darker than what we're normally used to seeing. It normally doesn't get super dark towards the end of the season, but they just really pulling out all the stops with Good Girl, so I'm totally okay with this. But I'm sad because I don't even know if I can look at my baby daddy, Rio, the same way anymore. Are you guys feeling the same way? Do you still find him as attractive even though he's, like, starting to become scary? I just don't know if I can do this for the rest of the season. Like, I just want my regular, like, semi-scary, just, like, meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle scary. Like, not too scary, not too soft, like, just right there. That's just where I'm at right now. But overall, I enjoyed the episode. So those are pretty much my thoughts on Good Girl Season 3. Episode, I forgot, is it episode 7? I think it's episode 7, Vegas Baby. As always, my name is Sharona for Pair Weights. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.